which would break. Unfortunately, missing the pistol due to that. But as you can see, it goes the way of XPC. Sure. Auto director is on. There we go. Wonderful. Should hopefully be cool and no other issues. Hopefully. It's because the way that CVO do it, right, is instead of giving us like a GoTV server, which is generally what gets created when you have a server and then you create a GoTV server, they give a relay server, and it's not quite as good. And I mean, GoTV is already pretty bad, to be honest. But yeah, the relay server can sometimes just randomly disconnect. But the thing is like the delays on it is like massive or something like that. So I think that might be part of the reason why they use it. Either way, as you would expect, getting into the game now. This game, so far, going the way of XPC. We're only 2 rounds in. The second round going to be on the board for them. Pretty easy, as you would expect. You know, 4 spies on train sometimes on the CT side can be kind of effective, but getting into B when you've got utility, you know, it is pretty simple on the T side of things. So they play it well by going to B, get in, get control, get the bomb down, and then obviously with just a few upgraded pistols and whatnot, there's really not too much they can do. Yo, I would be so down to get Boaster to co-cast with me. I would be cool with that. I don't know the guy very well, I have to be honest. I'm not very new to casting. I'd say maybe like 6 months in, maybe a little bit more than that. But in terms of the UK scene, I know the teams, know of them, but I don't know the players like on a personal basis, if that makes sense. Either way, should be another easy round on the board for XPC, in all honesty. There's only that saved CZ that Aaron had in the previous round. Mac 10 going to be leading the way in the hand of Sexy. Just get tagged down a fair amount. Picks up 2, however. Oh, don't do it. What a time to be alive. As soon as I go to a break, they get back into game. We're just in time to see Endpoint win their first round. 2 versus 2 clutch, so they managed to take their way. Aaron Weber pulling up some pretty big kills, it would seem. 2k apiece. Hopefully, touch all the wood in the world. This should be the end of all the issues with CVO at this point in time. Little bit annoying. You know, we've been talking for ages and I've been trying to get into the server and it doesn't work. And then as soon as I go to a break, the first time I try it after I go to a break, of course it works. Such is the way of the world. But, good composure, I will keep at it. Aaron tagged down to 2 HP. I think a little bit of a wallbang coming in perhaps from White with the AWP. One of those danger men on this XPC side, if some of you have been following. Oh no. The nade chasing Aaron away as he tries to get away from it, but unfortunately cannot. He's on 2 low HP, of course. But, as I say, you know, this team, this XPC side, you've got White, Sexy, Cement. They've played in a few lineups over the past year or so within their region, which I believe it's the Balkans region. I think it's Romania, that flag. I could be totally wrong. I'm terrible at geography. But I know from a CS standpoint, from a player standpoint, they've been together for quite a while. And Cement especially is a little bit of a danger man for this side. And then Torik and Pipson. I believe Pipson is Russian. I'm not quite sure. I've never seen Torin's flag before. But either way, they're slightly a mixed team. So I'd imagine they don't all speak the same language. Either way, going to be hitting this B bomb site now. Endpoint already a man down. White watching Weber to come creeping around that corner. And we'll get taken down. Cement as well. Finds Mighty Max on the bomb train. Sexy, of course, they've got this control. Going to push up aggressively. Torik as well, just outside the next. Pulse 1 versus 4, and unfortunately will get taken down there. So, Endpoint, they did win a round back after losing 5 in a row. As soon as they do, they get themselves reset. is, of course, a best of 3 here as we're in the playoff stages at the moment. So we've got Train, Inferno, then Cobblestone. This being the pick of XPC, Inferno the pick of Endpoint, Cobblestone what was left over. So not at all a good little lineup of games. It does depend, though, on whether we'll be going to all 3. I have to say, at least in terms of the betting odds on HLTV, as much as you want to trust those, the odds do seem heavily in the favour of XPC at this point in time. But Endpoint, as some of you have picked up on in the chat, have picked up their game recently. Mighty Max with the CZ as well, going to find Toric, a good little opener for his team. The remainder of the T side over towards B at this point in time. So they're going to try and get in there, do exactly what they did last round. Should be a bit easier here because they're only up against a bit of armor, a bit of pistols. Weber going to find the head of Cement as he gets a bit aggressive. White watching the flank with that AWP. They're aware of Weber's position. Mighty Max now has got his hands on an AK. Seems like he wants to try and go for this here with his teammate. No kit, and I'm pretty sure there isn't one down near the site either. So time is heavily of the essence. Mighty Max, though, does find one. Weber as well with a second Eagle shot coming in. Now it's all on Sexy. Smoke goes down onto the bomb to try and bait Sexy out. And a beautiful angle from Weber here. The tap coming in as he will peek. Gets tagged down to 21 HP. The bomb's so far gone, though. Mighty Max is going to have to hold this. Running out of bullets, though. Sexy's going to go for the pistol spam. Oh, my God. Don't tell me this is going to happen. Mighty Max with a 10-second defuse. Oh, my God. It does come in the end. And I'm running out of breath. What a round that is. Is Mighty Max going to be so happy with that? The smoke dissipates in the final second. Sexy not quite able to connect the P250 bullets. They do have a heavy buffer of rounds. But all the same, what a round to be losing at that point. Up against, you know, like I say, just a little bit of armor, a little bit of pistol being bought up. I was not prepared. I did not take a big enough breath to finish my sentence in that case. Oh, come on! God damn it. Yeah. After all that excitement in that previous round, and now this kind of storyline that's starting to get built up, Sivo screws us yet again. Come on. Get us back in. Alright. Come on. Alright. Alright. Looking okay. Okay. So we missed a bit of the early action here, but thankfully for us Endpoint fans here, it's gone the way of Endpoint. 4 versus 2. Got White and Pipson, the only remaining players for the XPC side. Up in hand of White, Pipson on 12 HP. Might be worth swapping that over. A bit of the Bogdan Law coming in, perhaps. But at this point in time, it does seem a little bit closer than perhaps the XPC boys would like to a loss, especially with Pipson going down there. So the bomb does go down. That's on saving grace. Now it's all going to be on White. They've got to be careful not to peek him one by one. Aaron going to go down, get the information that he's got an AWP. Should, in theory, kind of give you, as a CT side player, that logic that you just sort of have to go in together. And they will spam him out. Weber will finish it off. I think they might just get their hands on a second AWP, perhaps. Not unheard of. On the Endpoint side, Mighty Max does like himself a bit of an AWP. And of course, Train as well is a map that really hands itself to the double AWP setup. You know, you have one on B, one over towards Ivy, that kind of thing. But it is very dependent. They are going to actually go for it. It does depend on whether Pulse decides to keep it. Looks like he might just, in this case. Which is fair enough. I think the money across the board for Endpoint is good. Not ideal going forward, though. You know, you've got Mighty Max on the UMP, and really kind of swapping weapons around is a little bit awkward at this point in time when you don't have all the money that you would want. Perhaps a little bit based off of spawns. Perhaps Pulse has got an idea in the back of his head for it. Weber, interestingly, the only player on B at the moment. Generally something that you would expect early on, and I mean, you've got Mighty Max rotating in now, but he's only got that UMP, so the long-range fights that are probably going to occur here might not suit the weaponry that he has got in hand. The execute coming in from the T side. Molotov going to hold them off. The nade as well from Mighty Max will actually finish off Toric. Sexy getting burned down. Left on pretty low HP. Mighty Max picks up 2 with the UMP. And Weber will get the final on the flank. So a clean hold from the Endpoint boys. XPC's money now is going to be not terrible, but okay, so it would seem. I don't think they're going to go for a force here. A full eco and then a full buy in the next round is probably the best idea. A little bit of upgraded pistols, but at this point, you know, they're just going to try and do a bit of damage. White, interestingly, is the AWP player, though. I think we got 1400, 2400. No, it'd be 2900. And he's also found a kill. So he will have money to pull out the AWP, but not really much else. So a little bit risky, perhaps. Depends, however, because he does have his hands on an AWP. Thanks to that kill on pulse over towards Ivy. And a nice little clean headshot it was too. So this is actually a little bit dangerous for Endpoint if they're not able to recover a couple of kills back in their favour quickly. Still kind of hand it to them with the superior weaponry in all fairness. But if White is able to kind of bait the rest of these pistol players and play around them and pick up shots, perhaps they'll be able to take it. All very dependent, however. Luzzer does pick up one.
That was so dumb. Why
Luzzer actually goes down, rather. Aaron picks up one. Oh my, a lot of kills coming the way of this T side at the moment. White as well going to find Weber. And what a round to be losing from Endpoint. Not really looking too good going forward if you're going to be losing rounds like that, in all honesty. Their economy, I think, is strong enough to buy up here. The story of being dropped any weaponry is not really on the cards at this point. Actually going to pull out a double AWP setup on that T side, which is quite interesting. White obviously saving that one from the previous round. Ipsum able to purchase one for himself, so... I mean, it's risky on a T side. I feel like Train is a map where having an AWP on the T side is highly influential. There are some maps, I suppose, like Inferno and Mirage, where you can kind of afford not to use it. On Train, you kind of need at least one, but having two on any T side of any map is a little bit unorthodox, to say the least. We'll see what they want to do with it, and especially, I mean, if they can get early picks, then it can certainly pay off, but if, you know, it goes later on in the round, and you're in that 5 versus 5 kind of situation, rushing into a bomb site, perhaps you've got a bit of an execute down, yes, but for the most part, especially if you're going in there, as it seems they are, it's going to be sort of close quarters fights that need to take place to begin with, and you've only really got 3 players that would be suited to that. Great Molotov coming in. White will take down Mighty Max with that AWP on Sidewalk. We're able to trade one back, but will also go down. It would seem it's the AWPs at the moment that's doing all the work for both teams, as White will eventually get dropped by Luzzer. Aaron being heavily tagged up. Luzzer spotting out the player towards Heaven, but not quite able to connect the shot. 3 versus 2 now in favour of the CT side, but there's 2 players on pretty low HP, so definitely a chance for the T side to kind of pull this back, at least in the hands of Torek. Molotov going to go down onto the bomb, buy a bit more time. Torek pushed up aggressive on the edge of that smoke, though. Will get easily spotted out by Aaron, and now it's all on Pipson. He's used his Molotov, going to find Luzzer, however. He gets Molotoved out himself, so he's forced to push forwards, but opts to go back. The defuse coming in, and the Pulse has got a kit, so he will be able to defuse that one. And XPC now looking a little bit dangerous as well, because they are sort of in a position where they do have the economy going forward, right? But sort of in the mental game, they're in a position where they're not quite able to string rounds together, so it would seem at this point. They seem to have lost that from the early stages of the game. They did win that first gun round. They got 5 in a row as well after winning the pistol. But since then, they quickly look at the scoreboard. It's been a little bit more about Endpoint than it has XPC. But I think 7 rounds on the T side here, certainly nothing to be sniffed at. I think Train hands itself more to the CT side, kind of in the current meta of CSGO. I have to say, I kind of second guess myself on some of these things that I'm saying with me being in the chat, not gonna lie, but can I just go with it? For the sake of the storyline. Pulse gonna find Sexy over towards Ivy. Again, another early pickup for Endpoint. Getting these initial frags on the board is always important on the CT side. Now they just need to get a little bit of advantage, and Pulse kind of flashing himself in, getting a bit aggressive alone there is not quite the ideal position you want to put yourself in. You know, you've got pretty solid Ivy control. You can play it quite passively and just wait for Torek to come to you. Thankfully, the rest of the team are picking up the pieces. Well, I say that, White and Pipson going to get 2 quick kills, and now it just leaves Weber in a 2 versus 1. One going to get planted towards the back end, the opposite end from Weber. White going to peek out and will find the quick scope as well. So XPC win a round back yet again. These past 4 or 5 rounds have been very back and forth. At this point in time, did mention how XPC have lost their ability to string rounds together, and as soon as you expect Endpoint to start doing that, especially after that early kill, that very early kill over towards Ivy, they too don't seem to be able to string rounds together very well. Weber's playing with the 5-7. I'll just leave it at that. Now he's probably going to ace and put me in my place, but flash coming in towards Ivy. Pulse, again, not really able to find anything. Just kind of making a few solo plays. Yes, it is a pistol round, but still don't really want to get yourself into that mentality. They have traded one back, however. Aaron cost him a fair chunk of his HP, but he did get his hands on an AK for his trouble. Maybe if they can get that across to Weber on that full HP and the armor, of course, in hand. Only chest armor, but not like it really matters at this point in time. Actually going to get it across the Might Max, which is better than Aaron having it, as he is on a fair more amount of HP. 4 on 4, 55 seconds remaining on the clock. Bomb yet to kind of dedicate itself to any one bomb site. Just playing a bit more passively on this T side right now, holding off to see what is going to happen. Flash going in towards Pop. Cement going to get some good control over there. It looks like it is going to be an outer bomb site hit here. Sexy double checks the angle. Will eventually find Mighty Max. And the kills right now going the way of XPC as you would expect. It's going to be Weber 1 versus 4 with his trusty 5-7 at his side. Got a smoke and 2 flashbangs. But I think at this point the best idea is probably to just try and save this one into the next round. Maybe get an exit here or there, which looks like it is what he's going to go for. He doesn't have a kit. And like I say, just a pistol, so you wouldn't really expect him to just suicide in at this point in time. So it will be 9-5 on the board for XPC. Pretty stellar T-half from them so far. Would definitely like to get this next round for sure. Make it 9-6, not make it as difficult. Every round kind of counts. And of course as well, makes that burden a little bit easier going into the second half. I think they'll need a pistol going into the second half, but I don't know. I mean, personally, I feel like B-site train, you know, can be pretty simple once you get that bomb down and get those initial frags on the T side of things. You can get yourself into some good post plants and probably take the pistol. It does depend, you know, if that initial player that you're going to face off against, generally speaking, you know, is hitting crazy headshots, and there's not really much you can do about it. Going to be another force buy coming in from the Endpoint side. So winning the final round is perhaps a little bit more difficult than they would like. At this point in time, Weber does have a kit now. After saving in the previous round, also got his hands on a Molotov. So a little bit more utility available, but the weaponry is the main issue, of course. 2 Deagles, 2 CZs, and a 5-7. So someone's really going to have to kind of pop off it, find themselves a couple of heads. Molotov going down towards lower, going to force the T's to go out, but they're kind of already doing that anyway. They're going to know that weapon's up here. Does find the head of Cement. Trying to get his hands on an AK, not quite able to do so, but he will at least get away with his life. Bomber's going to get planted here. Aaron on the flank, not quite able to find anything, so it's just on Pulse and Weber now. A lot of fakes coming in from this bomb plant, in fact, so a little bit scared. White will go down to the Deagle. Weber, though, has got 2 players coming towards him, and he's going to fall and Pulse now just on 20 HP. Bomb is down, that's kind of his only saving grace here. Also finds the head of Pipson. Suddenly it looks a little bit doable if he's able to connect the shots on these final two players, but they peek him at the same time, and he will get taken down. So the dream, unfortunately, does not come into reality. It will be a 10-5 half. So as we get into half-time, I think these players will be raring to go into the second half. Shouldn't be too long here waiting. But worth mentioning, you might have caught a glimpse. It very quickly swapped the scoreboard over, but White here for XPC is on 20-7, which we generally kind of say in the world of competitive CS, 20 kills and a half is pretty godlike, in all honesty, and he was that AWPer as well. So if you've got your AWPer firing on all cylinders going into the CT sides, it'd be very, very difficult indeed for the opposition to break your defense and get through, get the bomb down regularly, keep that economy rolling. A little bit easier on the T side of things to get your economy rolling, but I mean, AWPs can be so difficult if they're taking you down initially. Probably going to be denying you the bomb plant a lot of the time. Torek with the kit and the smoke. A little bit of utility from a couple of the players on the Endpoint side. Looks like they are going to go towards this B bomb site. Pretty passive hold on B so far in the pistol. They are going to rotate a player over, so there'll be two to kind of deal with, using that long range advantage that you have from the USPs on the CT side. I think if that smoke goes over towards Sidewalk, there's only going to be one player to deal with at this point in time. That'll be Pipson. He's going to be sort of above that smoke, not able to find anything. It's actually Luzza with the P250 who will take him down, and also White. A really patient hold from the players on lower. So you just kind of hold it, make sure there's two players there so that as the rotates come in, they can both tap away. With the P250s, this is actually so smart. I noticed that Luzza's got one because he's got kills, but Weber's also got one as well. So they are using the long-range advantage of the P250s against these USPs. Torek has picked up a kill. Sexy as well picked up one. Torek going to get another. Suddenly it's into a 2-on-1, but I don't think he's aware that Mighty Max is above him. He's not, so he gets taken down. Luzza with the 3k there, but that's actually really clever. Endpoint with a brilliant play. The smoke doesn't go towards Sidewalk. Unfortunately, I didn't quite catch where it went, in all honesty. I think it may be in between sort of, lane 4 and 5. But I'm not quite sure. But either way, they use those P250s to their advantage up against the USPs that they know, logically, the CTs are going to think, right, we've got the range advantage, so let's play far back. But really smart play from them. Team kill coming in from Luzza. This is a little bit of a mess over towards Pop Dog, and maybe not quite able to clean up here. There's another kill going the way of the CTs. Mighty Max as well, going to get himself tagged down by the scout. So suddenly we're into a 4-on-2. Sexy is up close and personal at the moment. Going to take down Mighty Max with the CZ as he's on such low HP. Aaron will be able to trade it back, but he's got it all to do in the 1 versus 3 situation. And he's not quite able to finish it off as Pipson managed to recover himself an AK. So XPC very quickly, 39 seconds that round, take the force buy, and perhaps Endpoint a little bit risky, just going for a straight up rush in all honesty. It's not quite what you want to be doing at that point in time. You know, you generally on these anti-eco rounds take it a little bit slowly, see if the CTs are going to get aggressive, but they instead decide to take it to the CTs, and it just doesn't work out for them. Too many bodies, too many players to be dealing with. That team kill as well having a huge effect. White with a nice little scout shot onto Pulse. Of course, he is that dedicated AWPer. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a dedicated scouter. That's not always the case, but either way. Okay. Just took a quick look at the chat. So it's like a CSS strat apparently. That's pretty interesting. I still think it's really interesting. I'm not sure I've seen it very often. You also have to be hitting your shots, right? Let's not forget about that. It's not just like because you've got P250s and armor, you have all the advantage, but like it eliminates that range issue that you have with the Glocks, generally speaking. And they were fully prepared for it, right? On the CT side of things, you know, you had Pipson up on top of the train, so he was going to be over the smoke if they'd have thrown one there anyway. You know, so they were fully ready for it. 4 versus 3 in favour of the T side here. Luzzer and Mighty Max on very low HP though, so it could quite easily become 3-on-2 perhaps. Still got AKs in the hands of Cement and Pipson. A kit for Cement as well. Mighty Max 12 HP, gets wallbanged down as his back end was just kind of sticking out there. Luzzer still on 2 HP, you've got Aaron with the AK as kind of the danger man. No armor for him. Still, it's nice than not having it. Either way, Cement is going to take down both those players over towards ramp, unfortunately, and Pipson will find Weber at upper after a few body taps coming in. So, I mean, in terms of an eco, not all bad from Endpoint. They get the bomb down, they pick up a couple kills, keep that economic pressure on a few of the players. That's kind of always what you want to be doing in the in the force buy rounds, rather. Not the anti-force buy rounds. You want to kill everyone in those rounds. But at this stage of the game, going for a force buy, it needs to kind of come into a little bit more fruition than that. Because it's 12-6. It's starting to look dangerous. Should quite easily be 13-6 here as well. No one's got any armor on the T side of things. There's a smoke, 2 deagles, and a P250. So not a great amount of... Smoke goes over towards Pop. Popping along, Luzzer will get taken down. At least he can take that away. Cement going to get a triple with the AK. And Torek will clean up the final 2 and recover that AK as well. So 13-6, don't get the bomb down. Barely get out of T-Con in all honesty. Luzzer with the hops though. So his KT's pretty good. But unfortunately the team as a whole just not quite performing. Well, I mean, it's difficult. It seems Pulse and Luzzer are the ones that are kind of lagging behind a little bit. But ultimately, only getting 6 rounds on the board, it's never really an individual case in point. You know, you can't blame the individual. It's Buy coming out. Beautiful positioning from the CTs allows them to pick up 2. Luzzer does trade one back towards Ivy, I believe. So got control of that at least, but a B hit not really coming into fruition. You've got Pipson left on 7 HP though, so suddenly this 3-on-3 does look doable. The bomb, however, is trapped in the showers, but White, oh, he was making his way there, but eventually flies down. Hot Dog, gonna spot out Pulse. Drops that smoke in the location of his dead body, but now the B bomb site is gonna be clear. So this bomb gonna go down momentarily. However, the sound cue will have come in, so they are well aware of this. It's now just a case of whether White is ready for this flank to come in, and whether they are able to deal with it on the T side of things, because they could, again, even though it is a 3-on-2, they could take this. White, though, going to pick up Luzzer. No, no, no. Okay, he was just walking for the speed. I was going to say, you cannot go for the knife there. Cement going to spot out the man throwing the Molotov like a madman. I'm going to try and get through the smoke here. Jumping up, still going to find the kill, however. And the Molotov won't quite be enough as they've both got kits. Unfortunately, so close there. If he'd have picked up that kill onto Cement, I think it was pretty much a done deal. Pipson on 7 HP. It's almost a free kill, but unfortunately Mighty Max not quite able to clutch it out. Not quite fast enough on the flank. His teammate gets taken down, and now it's 14-6. Well, they've got to buy in this situation. They want to go for the win. If they want to win in regulation, it's going to have to be a 10-round streak. Which is a pretty huge ask for any caliber of team at this point in time. Has to be pointed out that this is the pick of XPC, but letting it through the veto, you know, surely you would have thought, if it's a classic veto system for... Oh, hello. 2 kills coming in for Endpoint. Going to bring it into a 4-on-3 now. Bomb again towards Pop Dog area. Like, they want to go back towards B, seeing as how they've got a bit more control, but they've got to be ready. Torek is pushed up pretty aggressively here into T-Con. Going to know they're coming from Ivy. Whether they're ready for him to be here. Looks like it's going to be a bit more of an A split if they follow through on this T-Con push. Headshots come in for Torek, and will take down Mighty Max. Through drops, Cement's going to take down 1. Aaron comes flying after, and Cement not ready for it, so he's able to pick up 2. So now we're into a 2-on-1. Pipson with it all to do to bring his team to match point at this point in time. It is planted for Pop Dog. It seems like they know he's over towards that area as well, but you've got Aaron on 9 HP, 1 bullet, and you've got Pulse, perhaps 2 bullets at this point in time, so he just needs to connect 3 to these players. A beautiful position from Aaron over towards the camera, as I would call it. You don't see players play that very often, in all honesty. It's a pretty aggressive kind of CT position, because it's so open to T-con, right? But it's a bit more of a puggy kind of position, you know what I mean? If you're trying to play aggressive and get a really early kill with like an AWP or something. But it's not quite safe, I think, in a team setting, because if you go down, it obviously is pretty difficult to recover. You go down very early. Throw in the fact that, you know, you've got dedicated AWPers on both of these teams that are very capable of punishing you when you're with a warbang coming in onto Pipson. Takes a little bit of damage for his trouble. But ultimately, he gets away with his life. There will be a slightly more passive hold at this point in time. I mean, Endpoint don't want to be making any mistakes. XPC, I think, in a similar situation as well. You know, they lose this round, they're going to get their economy a bit reset. The loss bonus not really stacking up. Maybe go for a force, but that might be a bit risky. So there's a chance for Endpoint to kind of get the scoreline to maybe a 14-10 kind of area, and then it looks a little bit more doable. It all does depend. They're just buying time here, though, on the XPC side. Really smart. Flash comes in. Torek going to be able to spin around. Finds one. Aaron will trade him back. But left before it. The boost going to come in towards Ivy. Pulse will find Sexy. And now it's into a 4-on-3. Very quickly into a 3-on-3. However, only 20 seconds remaining. They've got to get this bomb down. Cement picking up 3 is going to put a spanner in the works, as now it's all on Luzza. In the 1 versus 2 situation. He's only got 10 seconds remaining. Can't go B. Gonna get up close and personal, though. Not expecting White to be there at exactly the same time. However, and Luzza will go down. So it's 15-7. A little bit of a heartbreaking loss in that round. The Molotov, the utility usage from XPC, though, over towards Ivy. Keeping 3 of those players out on the T side for so long with 2 Molotovs in a row, you know, is really, really difficult to deal with. I think they had maybe 25 seconds once they were able to push out of Ivy. That was it. You know, and the Pop Dog players also had to act, and everybody gets a bit panicky when there's not very much time remaining. They lose the round, and now they've got to win 8 in a row to take us to overtime. So, with the buy that they've got as well, I feel like this could very well be curtains for the Endpoint side. Sexy as well, gets 2 towards Ivy. White takes down Luzza. Now it's just Aaron and Webber with a couple of deagles in hand. Auto direct keeping us on the dead body is always brilliant, but a little bit of utility for these T-side players. They could get the bomb down here, but I mean, there is no kind of saving grace of this round. It's do or die at this point in time. Only Pipson to deal with. They will spot him out, but Aaron not quite able to connect the shots. You can kind of see by the way that he's playing, a little bit spamming with that deagle. Just getting a bit tilted. Lands 2, but that's all he's going to be able to get. And Webber goes